There are few things out there that Americans all across the political spectrum can overwhelmingly agree on. One of those is the practice of mandatory minimum sentences. Now, there was a poll taken back in February that reported that 63% of Americans say that moving away from mandatory minimum sentencing for nonviolent offenses is a good thing. Only 32% said that that would be a bad thing. So now we have a majority that say, yeah, we should move away from that. Now, of course, mandatory minimum sentencing is often used for nonviolent drug offenses. Those, of course, as we've said before, those nonviolent drug offenses are victimless crimes. So it makes a lot of sense that if there is no victim, there's essentially no crime. Now, that's, of course, a significant change from just over a decade ago, where 47% of people opposed mandatory minimum sentencing, as compared to 45% who agreed with it. Huge, huge change. Monumental. Now, another survey conducted by the libertarian right-leaning Reason-Rupe found that 77% of Americans polled said, get rid of mandatory minimum sentencing for nonviolent offenders. This is one of the things that liberals and libertarians can actually agree with overall. That's a good thing. Now, speaking of party breakdown, that same Reason-Rupe survey showed widespread support for eliminating mandatory minimums across all parties, races, genders, ages, and income levels. Now, let me show you something here. Let me show you a graphical representation of that survey across all parties. So here we go. Look at that. 77% of all Americans. You've got, of course, leaning by 81% by Democrats, saying that, would you favor or oppose eliminating mandatory minimum prison sentences for nonviolent offenders? You've got independents at 75%, and surprise, surprise, Republicans at 73%. That is still a massive majority. Look at that support. And the question here was, do you want judges to be judges? And a lot of Americans, most of Americans are like, yeah, of course. Quote, would you favor or oppose eliminating mandatory minimum prison sentences for nonviolent offenders so that judges have the ability to make sentencing decisions on a case-by-case basis? Now, what that means is that doesn't mean that people won't still go to jail over drugs. I'm not saying that at all. These results don't say that. This is just asking, do you want judges to be judges when it comes to this and get rid of the mandatory minimums? Even though it's not saying legalize drugs, I think that this would be a good start at least. And of course, the finish is either legalization or at least decriminalization, which I understand both are very difficult goals to achieve, especially with the drug war, enriching certain industries, government agencies. You've also got the problems of lobbying, corruption, militarization of the police, and moneyed interests. I mean, you have a whole host of things you need to overcome in order to make legalization or at least decriminalization happen. But getting public opinion on your side is a good start. And besides, if they can do it in 2 states, Colorado and Washington, they can do it elsewhere. It's sort of like gay marriage. It is going to happen. We will eventually either have states taking their own initiatives, which several have, or the federal government. Now, personally, I'd put my money on the states on this issue because we all know the Obama administration's stance on the issue and how long it takes for a national politician to quote-unquote evolve on an issue. But regardless, it will happen. It's only a matter of time, and it's only a matter of effort, and we've got both on our side.